Clemson fans, are you ready? I said, are you ready? That's right, it's time for the Orange Shades podcast. And we're in our third season, and of course, it wouldn't be an Orange Shades podcast without the man with the plan. We're talking about a Clemson legend. We're talking about wide receiver, Mr. Airese Currie. How we doing, Airese?
Hey, good afternoon, Jay. Good afternoon, Tiger Nation. We are doing wonderful down here in Gamecock Country, still representing for the Clemson Tigers. Go Tigers.
All right. And of course, we're glad to have Airese on each and every week. Apologize for that little move there, but I want everybody to see him. He's always been off camera, but I'm bringing him back on camera. And he is such a great guy. And, of course, he's what? You're a wide receiver head coach for what school, Airese?
I'm the wide receiver coach for varsity at Ridgeview High School this year. They talked me out of retirement, so it's been exciting. We have a game tonight versus Northwestern, so we have a pretty sturdy, sound test tonight.
And if you want to see Airese, he's got great videos. He also teaches. He is just an all-around great gentleman, and he will help your kids if that's what you want him to do. And Airese, you do it more than football, am I correct?
That's correct. I work with all athletes, so all athletes can benefit from enhancing their performance level. So if you're looking to get faster, quicker, stronger, improve your agility, flexibility, mobility, I am your guy. Feel free to reach out to me, www.catchthissports.com, or you can reach out IG Airese_Currie, as well on Facebook, as well as TikTok as well.
All right. Well, Airese, let's get into it. First, we want to thank everybody at Arden's Burger Grill. We're talking about Donnie and Angie. Thank you for everything you do for the Orange Shades podcast. Also, your new place, Beef and Rib, that's going to be open up in Westminster. It's going to be a meat and three all day, and also burgers and stuff also. But we want to thank them, everything they do at Arden's Burger Grill in Central South Carolina. All right. Let's go to it. Thoughts going into the year. Predictions. We're going to get with our man Airese, see what he thinks, because it's a brand new year, Airese. A lot of changes in college football, new video games out. I mean, it seems like everything this year is getting crazy. More scholarships for players. I mean, Don't you wish that was back there when you was playing? I mean, where you wouldn't have to work. You had more guys that could still play without having to worry about being walk-ons.
Exactly right. The scope of things have definitely changed significantly since my days of playing. So I'm excited to see how we do and how we stack up against the rest of the opponents this year.
All right. Well, for one thing's for sure, we got some good offensive players this year that are coming in. But I'm gonna turn this over to you, Airese. What do we look like? Our offense versus their defense, or just how our offense depth chart? I mean, we're going to be going off just preliminary what we think is going to happen because Dabo, like I said, is keeping that a secret. So, what's your thoughts on it?
Well, just based off some slight digging, starting, I think we'll see on the outside. I think we'll see Randall to the boundary, at the boundary receiver playing that X, Antonio Williams at the Z playing the flanker, Tyler Brown, I believe he'll get the nod in the slot for us. So those are three guys that have been there. They've had some success while they're being healthy. So I'm excited that they're all finally healthy. That whole entire receiver room is healthy. Seeing how they compete versus a great Georgia team. Of course, they lost a couple DBs to the draft last year, but they still have All-American safety Malachi Starks coming back, who started 14 games last year for them, as well as Dalen Everett, their cornerback. He's a starter. He's a veteran guy. He'll be out there on the island against some of our guys. So I'm interested to see how we stack up against those at the receiver position. But we're very talented there, have a tremendous amount of depth. I don't see why we shouldn't see 6 to 7 of our receivers play in this game tomorrow versus UGA. You've already mentioned Randall, Brown, and Williams, but be on the lookout for Cole Turner. He's going to be back. Like I said, everyone's healthy. Troy Stellato, my son Kelly, and we've heard a lot about Brian Wesco.
Oh yes,
Brian Wesco, true freshman. We've been raving seeing the media reports about him. He will be a guy for us, I believe, as long as he stays healthy, as well as T.J. Moore, the other freshman. I know Coach Sweeney spoke very highly of them, so I look forward to seeing what they can do. No pressure on them because all we have is their high school stats or whatnot. So this will be new to them. The veteran guys won't know what to expect of them, so I just look forward to them stepping up to the plate and just competing. Then the offensive line, we are loaded there at the offensive line as far as the experience goes. 10 to 11 veterans should see the field. All of those 11 guys, out of those 11, one of them is the only one that has not started. So they have some playing experience. They have had a year of experience under Coach Luke and what he brings to the table. So I'm excited to see how our offensive line stacks up against that defensive line of Georgia. They've lost some guys to the draft as well, but they still have premium draft picks projected to be in this year's draft.
Very much.
And Mikael Williams, Warren Brinson, and Nazir Stackhouse. So those guys, we know Georgia football. They're known for putting defensive linemen in the league as well as linebackers, and they have arguably one of the best front sevens in all of college football in the nation. So it'd be an interesting test and a great test for us to see where we stack up against the number one team in the nation this Saturday.
I agree with you very much so. And, when it comes to our defense, me and you were talking off air. One of the biggest things that I think is getting disrespected is our defense. I mean, our defense has been elite the whole time. Everybody thought when, Venables left, it's going to be a huge drop. They're going to drop into the 40s and 50s. No, our defense has been elite every single year. But yet, we're going into this Georgia game, and it's like, okay, they lost, Tyler Davis, they lost, Xavier Thomas, they lost all these players, and they don't have those players anymore. But like Georgia, Clemson has plug-in players that are NFL talent. And last year, our secondary was, started off with seniors, and then due to injury, the young guys came in and made a name for themselves and stayed in the lineup. So now we've got, Khalil Barnes and Jaden Lucas and Tyler Venables. I mean, these guys, and Avian Terrell, oh my mercy, that young man is like his brother and is got more time to actually do better than his brother at Clemson. So, I mean, he's going to be a monster for us. T.J. Parker, another freshman that came in out of nowhere and made a big name for himself. Of course, this year, Peter Woods is going to be an edge. He's moving out of the middle because guess what? We've got two guys that are do good in Peyton Page and DeMonte Kephart. So, I mean, Clemson's defense is stout as starters. And, wait a second. Can we go back into the depth chart a little bit further? A.J. Hoffler, Vic Burley. I mean, Sammy Brown. I mean, guys that probably will get some starting time during the year against other opponents. But this defense is stout from start to finish. I mean, even their fourth string. I mean, Heaven Brown-Schuler is a fourth-string linebacker based on what we can find. And, I mean, that should tell you something. You got guys that are just, Rob Billings and Braden Strouser. I mean, you got guys that are sitting in the back that could easily be big impact players if they started. And, if during nickel defense, during any kind of changes that Goodwin might change. So, our defense, against their offense, I think we're going to be very stout, very good. I do not see Georgia scoring 30 points in this game. I know everybody's got 35, 42. This defense is not going to do it, Airese. I think you would agree with me. This defense is going to be stout. Yeah, they might get 21 points. I'm not going to say that Georgia can't score on them, and they will score, but I don't think those points will all be from playing against our defense.
I definitely agree with you on that, Jay. Just like you spoke about early in your comments, we've been a school where we produced at that defensive linebacker position as well. So I know that our defense will definitely be ready to play and come out and fly around and just let get all the butterflies out in that first series, and then we'll see what we expect to see from that point forward from both coordinators. And it's just a matter of who executes and who doesn't execute and who doesn't make any mistakes. We can't afford to have any mistakes in this game, especially versus Georgia's quarterback. He's savvy, he's poised, and he's gonna seasons. But I got faith in our defense and not giving up the big play and just. I think it's going to be a defensive game, Jay. Believe it or not, I think it's going to be a defensive game. So I'm excited to see how it plays out.
I am too, and I going back to your offensive thing, I think Wesco could pass Randall if Randall doesn't watch out. Wesco during the spring game had that crazy catch in the end zone. He played during the spring. He came in. All they've done is talk about how good he is and what he's doing. I see him getting into the game. He might not start, but I think if he doesn't start, he will be in the game. His explosiveness and what he brings to the table. Now, Dabo did say T.J. Moore was great, but he was still learning the plays and all that. But I think Wesco is going to be a real threat for Clemson, and if Cade Klubnik can get the time from the offensive line, he's got to have that time. And Georgia's somehow the offensive line has got to stop Georgia and give Cade time. If they don't, it could be a long day. But I'm also saying if Maffa gets over 110 yards, don't care about the carries, 110 yards, Clemson wins this game and he becomes the Heisman Trophy frontrunner.
Oh man, I like that prediction, Jay. That's a bold one right there. That's a bold. Hey, I like it.
Yeah, I mean, Maffa's got the energy, he's got the drive. When he wants the ball, he wants to punish people. That's what I love about Phil Maffa. When you watch him run, he's a punisher. He's not finesse. I mean, he can finesse, but he's known for putting his helmet down and if you want to stop me, if you want to tackle me, you're going to feel it. And I think if they can beat Georgia somehow, that's what I'm looking at. That Maffa, if he gets 110 yards on a Georgia defense, and Clemson wins the game, you're looking at your Heisman frontrunner. I'm not talking about Cade, folks. I'm not saying Cade. I'm saying Phil Maffa will be your frontrunner. I hope Cade has a great game. I really want him to have a great year, but I think Clemson's going to ride and die on Maffa and Wesco. That's just my prediction on that.
Hey, that's not a bad prediction. It's not a bad prediction. Those receivers in that case definitely have to be the complete receiver. So that means we can't only just be catchers, but we got to be run blockers as well too. So definitely got to block on that outside edge because we never know. We know he's a downhill runner, but you never know when that thing might possibly bounce, and we got to be prepared on that outside to be able to prevent our guy lined up over us from getting in on that tackle.
Yep, I agree. Now we get to the most interesting part, Airese, and that's special teams. Last year, after the third game, Clemson went out and found a guy that wasn't even playing football to come in and be the kicker because the guy that they got, Robert Gunn III, was having issues and just seemed like he could not fix it. They bring this young man in, and he helps them get all the way to the Gator Bowl and helps them win on that. This year, we got the number one kicker in the nation, Nolan Hauser, coming in. What we're looking at is that Hauser will be your field goal and place kicker, and Gunn will be your long kicker, your kickoff specialist. What's your thoughts on that?
Hey, the man clearly he showed and displayed Hauser. One thing I know about Coach Sweeney is the best man will play. If you got that nod as the starter at that prospective position, Coach Sweeney felt like it was earned and you deserve it. So up until that point, just like he said, he has to nod. I saw a press conference where he said he has to nod this game. That doesn't mean he'll have it next game or heck the next day of practice. But Saturday he will be the guy, Hauser, that is, and heck, he's a talent. And I think he'll put us in positions where we can pin some guys back offensively, and as far as giving them poor field condition and allow our defense to be able to pin their ears back and go get after the quarterback, which just helps us out on offense as far as working with a short field. Exactly.
Now, Airese, now we get to a point where we got to give some predictions about this year. What I want to throw at you is tell me who you think the offensive star is going to be, the defensive star, and then what you think Clemson's prediction is for this year as far as their record.
based off the trend over the past couple years, I'm gonna go with Brian Wesco Jr.
Oh,
Man,
okay, there you go.
freshman receiver. I'm looking forward to him having a breakout freshman year, which is which has been the case with freshman receivers in the past, Antonio Williams, Tyler Brown. So I'm looking to see that trend continue this season for the 2024-25 football season as far as offense goes. My pick is Brian Wesco. Defensively, man,
It's hard to pick.
I don't know. I don't know if I necessarily have a defensive individual. Jay, I mean, there's just so many guys that can get that position. So I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna just say the defense in general as a whole, the whole unit. I'm going with the defense.
There you go.
I take this. I'm gonna go with our defense being ranked in the top 8 in the country for defense.
Oh, there you go.
That'd be my prediction that they produce to a point where they're top 8 in the country as far as defense goes.
I would agree with you. I think that's great. I like the fact you just kind of made it a whole because, I mean, like you said, there's so many stars from first to third and even some fourth. I think that's just a great way to put it because, I mean, it could be the defensive line or it could be the linebackers. I mean, there's
right.
It's a good problem to have. All right, on offense this year, I tell you what, give me Jake Brendenstool. I think that I think Brendenstool needs to be a weapon in order to free up Wesco, in order to free up Maffa. If Brendenstool can give Cade what he needs, which is that over the middle or that good that sixth blocker on the line, which he's good at doing, I think that's going to be what Clemson needs. They need Brendenstool to be a breakout star. This helps Maffa get his running yards because you never know what's going to happen. He can wheel route you. And then also you got Wesco, Randall, Tyler Brown, Antonio Williams. I mean, like you said, they're stacked now. And they're healthy. Healthy.
They're healthy. We have depth, so yes.
Yeah, we have depth and they're healthy. That's the biggest. Normally this time of year we're like, okay, who's wearing the yellow jersey? And that's not what you want to see. So I know there's some that's got issues, but we're doing good there.
We got depth. We got depth at that tight end position too.
Oh yeah.
Sapp are making some noise. Sapp and what's the other young man?
Olsen Pat Henry.
Yeah. Yep. So we have depth at the tight end position as well too, as well as that young tight end that we got in that Brennan Steele was speaking of. The
Christian Bandecourt.
Yes. Yeah. So we have a good problem on both sides of the football.
Yes.
Which is a great problem to have. Now, how we stack up, I mean, some of those younger guys, how they stack up against some of those guys that have been acquired via the portal as far as experience, now that's another story. That's another conversation.
Yeah.
But I'm still excited about the pieces that we have.
I agree with you. And, I just think Brendenstool, he's got to have a breakout year. And if he does that, it's going to make everything else run smoothly because then you got to look more than just the wide receiver or just the running back. And then that also frees up Cade because then Cade's they'll be backing up, try to keep everybody else in front of them, and then Cade has more time. So that's who I think on offense for sure.
Okay, I like it.
All right, and as far as defense, oh man, like you said, how do you pick out of all these guys that are just studs? They're studs at their position. I'm gonna go with one guy that I think could have a very big breakout year. Give me Jamal Anderson, linebacker. I think he's going to be on a lot of the nickel sets. He's got the speed. He reminds me of number 7 that used to be at Clemson. I forget his name. He did a little bit of everything. He ended up playing with the Cardinals. But I think Simmons, Justin Simmons. Was that his name? Yeah, Simmons. So I think he's got that Simmons kind of attitude. He can deal with other teams' tight ends, which makes him very good to have out on the field during that time. So I'm going to go with Jamal Anderson. And, I don't know how much if he's going to start because there's a lot of guys. I mean, you got Drew Woodaz, Kobe McLeod, Sammy Brown. I mean, there's a lot of guys that want that next position. We already know Barrett Carter and Wade Woodaz are already on the field, but your third one is the one we're looking at right now. So it's going to be crazy. Not having a depth chart, not knowing exactly how they're sitting, but I do think that Jamal Anderson, after getting some playing time last year, is going to get on that field a lot, and he's going to make a difference.
Hey, only time will tell. We'll see tomorrow, won't we, Jay?
Oh, yeah, we will see. And now we get to our
time kickoff.
Exactly. Yeah, we're
prime time.
Atlanta, 12 o'clock. We know Airese is going to be sitting there watching this game, so
I sure will.
Airese, who do you got in this game, and what's the score going to be?
Of course, I got to go with my Clemson Tigers. Like I said, it's going to be, I think it's going to be a defensive game. I'm going with the Tigers 24-21. We edge it out with a field goal to win the football game, and that is my prediction. 24-21, Clemson pulls the upset in week 1 opener versus number 1 Georgia.
You know what? I totally agree with your prediction. I'm picking the Tigers too. Yes, I know this is Orange Shades podcast, a Clemson podcast, but we have picked against Clemson a couple times when we felt like it was just a game and we were struggling. So don't be telling us in comments that hey, y'all are just a Clemson podcast. That's why you picked it. No. We'll tell you. I think. I mean, if you listen to everybody,
you don't have anything to lose.
Yeah.
You don't have anything to lose. So it's an old school rivalry. We don't have anything to lose. So if those guys go in there with that mindset, they don't expect us to win the football anyway. So we can play free and play fast and fly around and get after it is what I'm hoping they're going to do. And I'm sure that's what the coaches in that locker room are telling them, are going to be telling them. So it's all on Georgia. They basically have home field advantage. We coming in your backyard, be underdogs with nothing to lose, and so hey, may the best team win. And I'm going with the Clemson Tigers. They gonna box. They not gonna throw rocks, Jay. They gonna box tomorrow.
There you go. I like that. I like that way of saying it. They gonna box. Well, like I said, I'm picking the Tigers. I think it's going to be a 21-20 game. I think, we go ahead, 21-17, and they get a field goal, and then they stop us, and then try to go down the field, and we stop them from, getting that final score. I think I just don't see Georgia's defense scoring more than 20 points on us. And honestly, I think one of our touchdowns comes from special teams. Tyler Brown's going to be back there. Westco's going to be back there. I mean, we got some explosive guys. Keith Adams Jr. I mean, we've got some guys that can make some plays on special teams. I think we get a special teams touchdown. So that's how I come up with my 21 points is we get a special teams touchdown, and we are able to win this game 21-20 in a defensive battle that will just be a game for the ages for Clemson and Georgia fans.
I like it, Jay. I like it.
All right. Well, Airese, next week we're hoping our buddy Sheridan Jones, former Clemson cornerback, will be here with us. We are working so hard to bring you fans what you want. You want to hear from Clemson players. You want to hear their thoughts. Airese, former player, he knows what he's talking about, folks. He's been there. He's been in the trenches. He's been in that huddle. He's been out in big games and made the big play. So we're so glad to have you, Airese, on our show, giving us your insight from someone that's actually been there in that huddle with the crowd screaming and yelling and knowing, hey, I got to make this play or, I'm off the field.
Well, I definitely appreciate you having me, Jay. It's my pleasure to be on here and just talk Clemson football with you and the fans.
All right, Airese. Well, before we go, tell them once again how they can find you on Facebook and anywhere else.
Well, on Facebook, you can find me first and last name Airese Currie. Same on IG, Airese_Currie. The same on TikTok, Airese Currie. I'm also on LinkedIn as well. My webpage is www.catchthissports.com. You're able to reach me there as well. I have a form on there where you can reach out to me via email, airescurry@gmail.com. Feel free to contact me if you're interested in any type of sports performance training for your athlete, or if you're an athlete yourself looking for those type needs. I am your man. I've played, I've experienced it. I have 12 plus years of training and coaching, and it is my passion and my desire to help you achieve whatever goals and desires you have, whether that be being the best high school, collegiate, or professional athlete you want to be. I can help you in that regards.
All right, folks, you heard it there, and he's got proof because he's got players everywhere at these colleges. So definitely make sure you get with Airese, and he will help any athlete, not just football, any athlete. He does it all. Well, folks, we want to thank Artensburg Grill in Central South Carolina, Clemson Wine Bar, also Cowboy Revolution, our new sponsor. Make sure you go on greenvillesportsmedia.com to catch our podcast. And also, me and Airese were just talking. We're thinking about doing some TikTok battles. Hopefully, you'll come in and join us for that. That way, you can see both of us side by side, and we might even bring a Clemson fan or another player up in there and just have some fun and talk nothing but good old Clemson football. And we appreciate everybody for watching us here each and every week on the Orange Shades podcast. This is Jay. This is Airese Currie. Thanks for joining us.